Hey, welcome everybody. I'm Dr. Bill Janishak. I'm a chiropractor here in North Orange County. And thank you and welcome for coming to this little talk that we're having. One of the hottest topics that we have and that I'm always getting asked by my patients is, what's up with this keto diet? Is it the new fad, or is it the real deal? What's going on? And I'm so excited because although I know a lot about the keto diet, I decided I'm going to bring in an expert. Maybe we're going to have a little talk. So it's my pleasure to introduce one of my best friends and great mind in natural health is Glenn Depke. He's a traditional naturopath here in county. And if any of you guys are familiar with Dr. Mercola, and Dr. Mercola is, I think he has the largest wellness website in the world. Well, it's Glenn himself that helped set up that whole nutritional program that's all over the world. And I'm so excited to have not only him as part of my team, as a good friend, but here with us tonight to answer any of the questions that you have with ketosis and the whole keto diet. So without further ado, Glenn, how are you doing today?
Awesome, Bill. Always a pleasure to chat with you. I feel like whenever you and I are talking, there's not only information flying everywhere, but we always have a lot of fun as well. So thanks for that.
Well, fun and education, to me, they always go together. So, we're never bland. So all you people listening, here we go. So Glenn, the keto diet, what have you seen with this? I mean, you've seen diets come and go, and I know you have a special, your whole program about looking at diets individually. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and it's and if you think about it, like the big question is, like, why do people do the ketogenic diet, right? And there's very real results. Like a lot of people will do the ketogenic because they want to lose weight, they want to increase their energy, they want to stabilize blood sugar, they want to increase their mitochondria. It's a great anti-cancer strategy. It's just the list goes on of all the benefits. And to me, those benefits are very real, but it's like anything else. A general thought that I share with people from a nutritional perspective, and then I've shared this thought for many years now, is that if you go in to work with somebody from a nutritional perspective, and they say they have the one single way that everybody should do it, and if you do it this way, you're going to feel fantastic. And Bill, you probably heard me say this before, but my response is, if you're working with that person, you just run, right? Because there is no one single way for anybody, right? And I think that's, while the ketogenic diet works, there are definitely some troubleshooting points and some sticky points for so many people when they get into that.
Well, so brings up a great point. So like I said, keto has been pretty hot, and I think everybody and their third cousins either has a diet on it or has an opinion about it. What if somebody's tried it and it's been a disaster?
Okay. And it's interesting that you say that, because I do I've done several lectures for Dr. Mercola on his book, Fat for Fuel, on the ketogenic diet. And what's interesting is every time I do a lecture, there might be 50. It is a great book. I think the best book on the ketogenic diet out there from a grand, overall picture. But what's interesting is when I do these lectures for Dr. Mercola, there might be maybe 50 people in the audience that, and really they're there for the fat for fuel. They're there to learn about keto. So most people that are at the lecture are either doing the ketogenic diet or they have. But what's interesting is whenever I get to the point, somewhere in the lecture, I ask everybody, have you done the ketogenic diet and it's failed you? Like you crashed and burned in between meals, you couldn't do the intermittent fasting, or you felt terrible. And now they even made a name for it now, Bill. They call it the keto flu. Like they just made up a name for why you feel like crap when you're doing the ketogenic diet. And basically there's troubleshooting points tied into keto, because if you're doing keto and you can't fast well, that could be a deeper stress hormone issue. If you're doing keto and you feel terrible, they usually blame it on, like, when you even ask people, like, I've gone to websites on keto or like social media sites on keto, and I've just proposed a question just to see how people answer it. And I've asked, what do you think, what is keto flu? Like, I'm just acting ignorant, like I don't know what it is, to see what people answer. And I get answers like, well, it's your body's ability to adjust from burning carbs into fat, and there's this time period. Or some people will say, well, it's because you're wasting your electrolyte minerals and your electrolyte mineral balance is low. But to me, like, one of the bigger factors in keto flu is people are dumping so much fat so quickly that they're also dumping a lot of toxins that are stored in that fat. And for some people, those toxins are making it into their brain and they feel like crap. But then we just say, oh, well, it's just keto flu, right? So there's all these different points that aren't really looked at when we think of keto, because this is this big conglomerate. It's like this big picture of everybody just do this. But the fact is that not everybody is successful doing that. And then the people who are successful are driving the bus and they're like, oh, you got to do this. This is so great. And then somebody tries it and they fall flat on their face because they're not looking at the troubleshooting. And I'm pretty sure this is a question you're going to ask me pretty soon anyway, but they're not paying attention to their own individuality.
Yeah, it's interesting. And when people ask me about that, I talk about, the old hippies back in the day when they were dropping acid, and they have the acid flashback. People ask about how's that happen? I said, well, they've been storing this in their fat for years, mm-hmm. and finally they get back on top, and it starts dumping onto their body, and it's like, wow, I haven't had this feeling in 20 years. What happened? And I think you're exactly right. People aren't paying attention to their body, and they're not paying attention to how it's reacting to them. I think this is a big problem. They don't correlate everything together the way it should. And this is why I think that it always helps to have some direction. When I finish up my talks or I'm doing a lecture, I always say, at no time in history have we had more resources at our fingertips with the least direction. Nobody's guiding the bus. We have people, you said, they're driving the bus, but nobody's guiding it. They don't know where they're going.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question to you is, why would somebody want to try this approach after they've gone through paleo, cabbage soup diet, carb busters, sugar busters, the flavor of the week?
Yeah, and it really comes down into, there's some simple factual aspects of how the body, simple things that we can all understand is that we actually enjoy about 6 times more energy burning fat for fuel than carbs. And carbs is a dirtier fuel also. Burning carbs provides a little more free radical activity and oxidative stress. But see, it's just more than that though. And this is where it's so important to ask yourself, like, why am I different, right? Why? Yeah, because if we think about this, if we think of keto in general, you're eating, approximately 1 gram of protein for every kilogram of body weight. You're eating about 80 or 85% of your calories from fat. You're eating, a certain amount of grams of net carbs, sometimes 30, sometimes 20, sometimes 50, depending on who's teaching you this. But see, that's the big thing that's different though, is that you can't nail everybody and say you should exactly eat this much. You should exactly eat this much protein, this much carb, this much fat. And the other thing that people aren't taking into account at all, Bill, is they're not taking into account their own biochemical genetic individuality. Like some people on a ketogenic diet will do great eating beef, right? But other people will really have detrimental effects eating high amounts of beef on a regular basis. They might be better eating like chicken or lighter fish or eggs for their protein. And those are all the missing, these are all the missing pieces. And that's why, for me, it's kind of like the what if. Like, what if you just follow the ketogenic diet, you don't individualize it? Well, you might be lucky and be the person who you happen to fall into the parameters, but what if you're not that person? What if you're the person who falls outside the general guidelines of the ketogenic diet and it makes you worse, or you crash and burn, or, Yeah, and Bill, you had mentioned to me earlier somebody who went on the ketogenic diet and they completely failed. Was that the person from the
Yeah,
workout facility?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
have several athletes that'll come in. I see a lot of people. My big jam is stress and movement. So I try to get people exercising, and we finally get them exercising, and they start like a ketogenic diet, and they're so happy to finally be healthy and active and feeling like that urban athlete that they are. And then they want to up their game, and then they tried keto, and they're feeling worse.
right, right.
And
And
is
then,
it, what if it's different for somebody that has maybe blood sugar issues or a leaky gut, or somebody that's just trying to up their game,
right.
as an athlete?
Yeah, and those are important points that we're going to cover in that lecture coming up, because everybody has to really look at it from the individual basis. And I know that everybody wants to achieve positive results, whether you're obese or you're completely lethargic every moment of every day, or you have blood sugar issues, or you're the athlete who just wants to really maximize everything you're getting from everything you put into your body. There's still this individual aspect that is missing. And that's why I eventually formed the system that I basically coined the name. My last name is Depke. My wellness center is Depke Wellness, but I call what I do with ketosis, I call it Depketosis, because it takes the underlying ideas of what ketosis is all about, but individualize it and covers the troubleshooting points, because ketosis can be successful for everybody when it's done right for you. Except the problem is all of the information out there is generalized information that's for the masses, which then leaves a percentage of our population left in the dark, sitting behind the 8-ball, wondering like, how can everybody else have all the success and I struggle mightily doing this? And we're going to provide those answers as well.
Well, it's also with ketosis, when people are going to ketosis, that I know a lot of people in the productivity space, a lot of people that are, they're creators, they're artists, entrepreneurs that are coming along, and they want to be more productive. When we've talked together in the past, I always say, it's our bodies that are carrying us through our hopes, our dreams, our purposes. And what if our brains or our minds are writing checks that our bodies can't cash? And how many times do we see this with, entrepreneurs? Idea, we got a brand new mousetrap and the greatest widget of all time, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to like that, I like that. And by 7 o'clock in the morning, they're on fire. And by 2 to 3 o'clock, they're just not moving.
Right. So
the ketosis has worked great when done properly on productivity. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But here's the big thing. Like I see the ketosis getting into that burning fat for fuel is a major advantage for basically everyone. But it goes back in the same thing when done individualized for you. That's the big thing, because there's the productivity, because when ketosis is done right for you, you're going to increase mitochondria, you're going to increase energy, you're going to regulate blood sugar better, you're going to enjoy my energy. All of these things are a part of it, but it's that troubleshooting standpoint, it's that individual standpoint that's missing out. And that's what I'm so excited to be. And if I remember right, the date was the 21st, right? Was that a Wednesday?
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah.
So
22nd.
Wednesday the 22nd, I really feel blessed that Dr. Bill has invited me to his clinic in Yorba Linda to actually do a live talk on Depketosis. And it's one of those things where, to me, I want to provide the information. I want you to understand how this can be individualized for you and where the troubleshooting is and where the sticking points are. And a couple of fun things that we're going to do in the lecture as well is I'm going to actually I've got a scale that actually breaks down the different weight components of your body. So it's going to break down the difference of fat. It's also going to look at lean body mass. It's going to look at bone mass, water weight, and so much more. So you can actually have a better idea on really what the protein levels are really best for you. And also a part of this really basically training, I wouldn't call it a lecture because it'd be a very interactive training. Everybody's going to get their automated Depke ketosis assessment, because it's not just about eating in a keto way. It's eating in a keto way that's right for you. Because and if we think of the two extremes of this, Bill, like let's say that we hypothetically we have one person who 100% of their genetic heritage is they came from a traditional Eskimo heritage, and then another person came from a heritage that's 100% based on, they grew up they're Venezuelan, so they grew up in Venezuela. And both of those people try to do the ketogenic diet in the same way, they'll probably both fail. Because,
yes.
That the person with that traditional Eskimo heritage, like they would have never been exposed to a lot of the carbs. Even though the carbs are low, it still might be too much for that person. And the other person on the other side, if your heritage is from near the equator, and now you're just trying to eat a lot of beef and overconsume fat, that could be a disaster for them. So I think this is the missing piece. I know this is a missing piece of the puzzle for anybody who's actually failing with the ketogenic diet. Between the individuality and the troubleshooting, you'll basically have all your answers. Because to me, there's no way that when you focus on correcting the areas of the troubleshooting and when you focus on the individuality, there's no way you can follow the ketogenic diet and not really enjoy long-term success. Not only just immediate success, but long-term success as well.
No, and I think that's awesome. And I'm excited to have you out. And for anybody listening, it's been a while since you've been out doing a lecture, but whenever Glenn's constantly in the trenches, he's constantly doing research, and he's constantly innovating things just exactly like this. It's the keto's hot, and we always hear about the hot stuff, and then there's the fringe stuff, and you always find a way to make it, that 5 and 10% better and smoother and easily and effortless to go down. And I mean, last time we did our program, we did Take Control of Your Life. Right. And me and you and our friend Bob Donnell, we went through that, and people still, and that was 6 years ago, 7 years, maybe even longer. People are still talking about that. And, sometimes I get sick of it. Well, Glenn says, oh, God. And, but yeah, you have such a elegant way of presenting this stuff. Sometimes when researchers get into the weeds, you lose the people that you need to contact the most, because, we get down in our own art form and everything like that, but you get a chance to, every time I hear you speak, everybody's leaning forward, and they're always engaged, and they're always walking out with an easy, actionable item. And so I steal your stuff all the time, dude. I steal it all the time.
That's awesome. And I'm
name on it. I move around.
and honestly, Bill, really, it's music to my ears to hear you say that, the word easy, because that's another big part of like Depke ketosis. Because you think of the ketogenic diet, like, let's be real. Who's going to check their blood sugar twice a day, check their ketone levels twice per day, and do all of this figuring, right? We're all busy and stressed out enough as it is. I don't have time to follow the general parameters of a very strict ketogenic diet, but Depke ketosis is broken down in a way to make it simple. You're not checking your glucose levels. You're not checking your ketone levels. We just make it a very simple protocol to follow to enjoy the benefits of that individualized keto benefit, addressing the troubleshooting and the big thing too. Like I was giving like the what ifs. What if you come? You're going to learn all this information. You're going to learn the individuality of it. You're going to get your Depke ketosis assessment. You're going to get your free body analysis done. But the other side of that coin is like, what if you don't come? You know, for people who aren't going to be there, you're kind of rolling the dice with the ketogenic diet. And really what pains me is that when people follow something that should be good for them and it completely fails them, then the keto diet is what's bad, when really what was bad was it wasn't made for them. And I just would hate for people to fail with something that has the potential to be a huge benefit for them just because there's pieces of the puzzle that were left out. So we'll definitely be covering that at your office for sure.
No, and I think that's a huge key point that you make, because I try to do the same thing in our practice. We both see chronically ill, what they medically call difficult cases. You know, if somebody has leaky gut, they have type 2 diabetes, they have, HPT axis issues that are going on. Obviously, those have to be fixed. However, if it's not easy, if it's not sustainable, it's like anything else. It's the New Year's resolution thing all over.
Right.
That, hey, when people are using willpower, it only takes you so far because you're going to go back into the old pattern.
Right, exactly. Well, and thankfully we'll cover all that.
This is what I like about your stuff is people are still talking about Glenn says all the time because they remember it and it's maintained.
Right.
My favorite thing is, you're talking about, well, what about the people that don't show up? What if, imagine, people show up and they find that small key.
Right.
They're going, you mean all I had to do was go here? It's so easy.
Right.
And it doesn't take anything and everything else changes.
Well,
and I want to add one thing, because for those people that don't know, me and you have the similar background of how we got into healthcare.
Right.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Glenn and I both, we had epilepsy, the brain issue. I found my way through chiropractic and the neurology. Thus today, I'm a neurology brain geek. Glenn found, his cure with naturopathy and nutrition and detox and doing this. There's that passion there. So, and I don't even know if most people know now that it's so popular that the ketogenic diet was basically, what year was it started? Was that late 1800s, early 1900s?
Yeah, it was quite some time ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was some time ago, but it was developed for nervous system and epilepsy.
Right,
and it
absolutely.
worked great until they got drugs and it cured everything, and now it's making a comeback. So my point is, what if we would have never tried, if I would have never been adjusted? What if you would have never, changed your lifestyle, cleaned up your gut, and learned the little nuances that we have? We wouldn't be even having this conversation.
Right. No, that's so true too. And that's a part of it. That's what, and obviously that's what drives, both of us are driven to basically help people achieve the same things we've been able to achieve, and I know Bill is equally, if not even more passionate than I am about health. And I don't know many people who are more passionate about health than I am, but it's the same thing as driving both of us. We just want people to really experience the same benefits that we've been able to experience. And that's just as true today as it was for me, 18 years ago. And for you, what was it, like 60 years ago you became a chiropractor, Bill? And,
all right, we're done with this.
Yeah. So I have one important question though, Bill, before we finish up. So the big thing is, how many people can comfortably fit for a live training in your facility?
Yeah, you know what? We're probably real comfortable probably at 25.
Okay. So then that gives a high level of importance. So
25 or 30 people in there.
Right. So if you're watching this and you're going to come to Yorba Linda Family Chiropractic on Wednesday, August 22nd, you want to register on the button below very quickly, because once we hit the high level of maximum, so Bill's saying 25 comfortably, so we could probably make like what, 35 people uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Maybe a little.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, a little.
I have my seats, so
yeah,
I'm good.
little standing room only in the background. And so really, if the big what if, what if you do come? You're going to learn what Depke is all about. You're going to get a free assessment. You're going to get a free metabolic assessment of what's going on within your body as far as all these different components of body weight. That'll give you a pretty close understanding of like how much protein you should be eating every day. And so it's countless things that you're going to understand. And the what if you don't go, like Bill said, you might be missing that one key that was holding back all of your success. So I can't wait to see everybody at your center on that day, Bill, and to share this information and to really empower everybody individually as to how they can really enjoy the benefits of keto for them specifically. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to add too that we're talking about the availability and everything else. One of the things that makes people most successful, at least what I found, is you need a support group. So usually you're just like your friends. So if you have a friend or something, you guys been maybe doing the same struggles, share this with, I don't know how you're going to work it, but just, share this with them and come together, because there really is power in numbers. And it's just like me and you, we're always sharing ideas back and forth, and we're there to support each other. You stand on the shoulders of the people next to you. So my advice would be, click it, but grab your buddy and, whoever you think that would help you through this and who you can help through.
Yeah, that's a great point that I didn't even think of, but yeah, that's so powerful. Absolutely.
Well, that's why I'm the brains in our relationship.
That's right. You're the brains, I'm the looks. All right. Well, everybody, I can't wait to share this information on Wednesday, January 22nd. Make sure you register on this button. We'll see you at Yorba Linda Family Chiropractic in Yorba Linda. And Bill, any last words for you?
No, I want to thank everybody for making it all the way through the video. I know that you probably have a lot of questions. I can't wait to see you there. If I know you, we'll see each other again. If I don't know you, I'm looking forward to meeting you live and in person. And you never know, this may be the thing that changes everything for you.
That's right.
It's great. So we'll look to see you there. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.